Yes, thanks for staying with us on the South Australian Sports Show. We've calmed down a little bit from the intro, but time to turn our attention to bowls. And in some places it's been pretty good this year, in other places not so good. Certainly for David Olive and Rob Shepherd, who join us. The Wasleys Bowling Club hasn't been quite as fortunate as some. Fellas, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, of course, we talk about the tragedy. I mean, it was horrific. It was savage, the fire that went through there. It took buildings, took lives, took a lot. The Wasleys Bowling Club, where is it at the moment?
Well, the green's playable at the moment, but the building is, we can't go near that yet. So, and it looks like it's going to have to be knocked down and we just rebuild.
When you talk about the rebuild and the greens being okay, I mean, I don't know that most people understand the force of a fire when it's coming through. We're having a chat briefly with you off air about your daughter. Can you just go through that story again with your daughter?
Yeah, she's a member at Wasleys, and they were sitting at home at Roseworthy when they got the text to say we're evacuating, and as they stood up, a back wall caught light, so they shot out the front, and one of their cars was on fire and the other one wasn't, and by the time they got out the driveway, it had gone. So
just like that.
Just like that, yeah.
It's quite incredible, isn't it? And it seems to be almost indiscriminate the way a fire can claim buildings or cars or, you know, tragically people, but others, it almost goes around them. And there's been many examples of that, Rob, up there.
Yeah, there's been tons. I mean, there's place. One of our other members, he lost his house, and the two sheds behind his house are gone, but the two sheds on either side and a fiberglass boat, fine, no damage, nothing.
All right, let's focus on the bowling club. Not that we want to talk about the other issues, but we're here to talk about the bowls. After the fire's gone through, you go to the bowling club and see what's happened. What's your first reaction?
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, I'm a life member down there, and you know I live for the bowling club. So everything you got, all your championship boards are all burnt, and you know everything's just gone.
Yeah,
it's not a good feeling.
Over the years, we've really admired the community that bowls becomes, that playing bowls become, and that is from children to elderly people, male, female, all shapes and sizes, but they love coming together. I think when you face a tragedy like this, the community, even outside of your bowling community, all of a sudden comes together, and if nothing else, I think that gives you some sort of satisfaction that people care enough to help, and I'm sure you would have seen evidence of that already.
We've seen a number of bowling clubs, like just around our region. I mean, so supportive, but we've had bowling clubs from the UK that have been interested in what's been going on and trying to offer support and that. So it's you only think of your own little area, but when something like that happens, it seems to kind of just blossom, and doesn't matter what member of bowling club, they want to make sure that we're okay and we're going to keep going, you know.
For Dave, there's an emotional attachment. He's a life member there. You were 3 years with the club.
3 years with the club, yeah.
Your feeling when you saw the devastation?
I was devastated, and when my son came home when my son managed to get in after the all clear was given, and I took him down to the club. I mean, he just broke down in tears. He's like 10, and he's just started bowling this season. And he was just devastated, you know. He was worried that we wouldn't be able to bowl anymore, you know.
So the fire's been through. The greens have remained somewhat.
Yes, yeah.
Club room's gone. When can you get back to bowling on the green? When can it start?
Well, we plan to start bowling back on the green again first week in January. We've got permission to use the school across the road on a Saturday afternoon as our clubhouse. So we've got that from the education department, which is really good. That's the way everybody's pulled together. But until then, we can only practice on it because you've got to have amenities, you know, your toilets and ladies' toilets, which have gone as well. So until we get those issues sorted out, we're just in temporary accommodation.
And I think too, Dave, you're an important part of this because what happens is, as much as a building is lost, you can rebuild the building. It's the memories. You mentioned the boards, the honour boards, the cups, the trophies, the photographs. They're the sort of things that now, those people that have been there for a long period of time, passing on or making sure that you can, you know, recollect those memories and somehow replicate them is an important part, I think, of building a foundation for the club to go ahead.
Yes, that's right.
I'd think so, isn't it? Because, you know, I'd expect that we've all been in the club room, haven't we? And there's nothing better than reflecting on years gone by.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? In a lot of ways, this now becomes part of the history of the club. As tragic as it is, I think there's a light that in years to come, you'll look back and go, wow, we have become such a great community, such a great club as a result of that.
One of the things you always like when you walk into club rooms like that, because you can't often associate with the names, it's the photos that mean something. So, you know,
those you can never get back.
That's the problem. Whether is there a chance through the community that some of those photos?
Yes, we had another Life member there. His daughter rung up last week and said she's still got a lot of old photos.
Fantastic.
So we're hoping to get hold of them and reframe them. We decided as a club that our honour boards that are badly scorched, but we clean up the best we can and keep that because they're the original honour board, you know. And if occasional names melted and you write it in, it's a talking point and something you can reflect on in years to come. So
Luke Longley's a good friend of mine. Of course, lives in Perth, won an NBA championship, several with the Chicago Bulls. He lost a fair portion of his house in a fire once, and he was devastated because championship rings are gone, memorabilia is gone. He said, but the generosity of the people around him, he actually thinks that he finished up with a better collection than what he there's a chance that could happen, isn't there?
Yes, that's right. We'll be back bigger and stronger, you know, so we know that. And our club's bigger this year than it's ever been. We've got 3 sides now, and you know, and we're all sitting up near the top. And but this is not going to stop us. So
when you talk about the 3, you've got 3 teams now. What's the population?
About 400. It's about 400. That's all.
Now, how many members of the community would be involved with the Bowls Club?
We've got 42 members.
Wow, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah,
more than 10%
42.
Fantastic, isn't it?
42.
Yeah.
So,
and you're a young fella, Rob. You said he's a 10-year-old young fella playing. A lot of young kids that play up there.
Dave's
I've got 2 grandchildren who play. Yeah, that's my daughter's one who lost a house. They play, and Isabel, that's her elder. She's 10. She's in the under 18 development squad. You know, South Australian development squad. So they're quite talented, and you know, but it won't stop them either. So
no. Well, the Bowls Club looks like it can bounce back. The community as a whole, you feel the same.
Oh yes,
Because already there's been monies raised, I'm guessing, and people supporting wherever they can.
The night of the fire, after it died down a bit and had it under control, most of the community come out to it, and I've seen people that been living in Wasleys for years that I've never seen before. You know, it's the first time they've ever been down there, and a lot of them have popped back a couple of times since then. You know, so.
Right, just quickly, because we've got to wind up, otherwise we'll talk for the whole show, but often when a tragedy like this happens, initially there's an emotive part where everybody comes out and gets involved, and then that kind of emotive part drops off and suddenly you're left with a few people. Right now, if people wanted to donate, wanted to get involved in some way, what would be the best way for someone to be able to donate something to the club?
Get in contact with Bowls SA. They've got a fund.
Yep.
And donations and funds and all that, that's all going through them.
Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. We'll have to get up there. There will be a night up there, I'm sure, where they need a couple of has-been celebrities. You'll be up there popping straight away. We need to take a break. Dave and Rob, all the best. I'm sure it'll hopefully turn out in a positive way. Stay with us. Mark Williams, Jason Paul-Pleasure, still to come.